Hey y'all, welcome to Neon's Movie Reviews. I'm Neon and this is my reviews. Today I am talking about Terminator Dark Fate. And I have very mixed feelings about this film. Now, I'm a massive Terminator fan. T- T1 and T2 grew up with. Like, I've been watching those movies since as long as I can remember. Probably since I was 3 or 4, since was the first time I saw the first Terminator. And then I think I was like 5 or 6 when I saw the first, T2. Um, these films have been part of my upbringing. 3, 4, Genesis, they're all kind of mixed. Of them all, I think I personally enjoyed Genesis the most. It was definitely not good, but I enjoyed the craziness of it and just kind of just like it was just like, all right, where are you gonna go with this? I'm just along for the ride. This is a lot of fun. What are you gonna do with it? And unfortunately, we never had anything come forth. Dark Fate is the most recent reboot of this franchise, and I am gonna get into spoilers. So before I get into anything, I will give this film a 6 out of 10. It's entirely passable. It is probably the best sequel since T2. Um, but I definitely have a lot of issues with it. The action is very entertaining. There's a lot in it that is very good, but there's a lot that's very flawed. They relied too much on CGI. The action is never character driven, it's always plot driven. And there's just a lot of weird choices throughout that don't really end up panning out in the long run. It'll all kind of amount to nothing. But all in all, when I first watched this movie, I loved it. Like at the end of it, I was just like, "That was a blast! Like this was great." And then a couple hours later, it kind of started sinking in. I was just like, "Oh, oh." But yeah, it's great popcorn fun. If that's all you're looking for out of the Terminator movie, this is gonna give you exactly what you want. But if you're looking for more from it, then you're probably gonna have a serviceable time getting exactly what you were expecting, but unfortunately, it's not gonna be all that you may have hoped. But yeah, it's another Terminator sequel. But yeah, I'm gonna go full into spoilers in just a moment. So, but yeah, solid 6 out of 10. I would recommend seeing it, but it's it's troublesome. I'll leave it like that. But yeah, if you have seen this movie, I'm about to get into spoilers. So for those of you that are still with me, let's talk about the opening. So opening scene, I for one don't have a problem with. I was really excited by the opening scene because John Connor is killed moments after the ending of T2. Um, it's a little upsetting that it was so soon after, and it just kind of was like, wow, okay, so T2 was pointless. All right, they stopped Judgment Day, but John's dead. That's the consequence. Okay, where are we gonna go with this? What are we gonna do with this? Oh, it just creates a new John Connor, and we just combine T1 and T2 and rocket through those again. Well, I was hoping for something more original, and that's really my big issue. Is this is a remake? This is another T2. That's a sequel to T2, and it's not as good as T2. Um, just like T3. Like if it's most of my same issues with T3. It's got great action, but it's this plot and like I don't know. Sarah, I enjoyed what they did with Sarah to a degree, but I felt that if they are going to build up this new John character, that having the characters at the exact same ending that you had in T2, where okay, the time traveling Terminators are all destroyed. It's Sarah and the child new leader of the Resistance. And film ends with them setting out on an adventure. Okay, if you're going to reboot this timeline, don't make yourself have a purpose to be in existence. Because at the end of the day, all I get was, oh, okay, you killed John to create another John and give me the exact same movie that I just saw with a better John. A John that was actually a fleshed out character. It's got cool action, but it's all done in computer post and okay. Yeah, the original one only had like some scenes with the liquid Terminator and CGI. That was it. Everything else was practical. Like, okay. So I know it's hard to it's bad character to judge a film based on other films in the franchise, but in a franchise, you're always supposed to be trying to outdo what the previous ones have done. And if you're not trying to outdo them in the sense of scale or scope, then you're trying to do something new and fresh with it. And this just did the exact same thing we've seen before in not as good of a way. And it just constantly had constant callbacks to the first two Terminators that were just like, okay, well, why don't I just watch those instead? But like I said, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. It's definitely serviceable. It's fine for a Terminator sequel. And I hope that this gets a sequel. I would really like to see a sequel set in this new timeline. I would like to see where that story goes and actually develop this. But if this is rebooted again, and like this timeline is just tossed to the side, we never revisit it, then yeah, I'm probably never gonna watch this film again because it's completely pointless. As much as I don't like T3 or Salvation or have issues with Genesis, at least they make choices that merit those films' existence. This one I don't feel does, and the only reason that it may is if the sequels that this gives way to do something unique, which with this character, like, it'd be hard not to do something unique, but it'd be really easy to just do another Terminator 2 again. So I don't know. Terminator's not in a good spot. Studio doesn't know what the potential of this IP is, and it's very frustrating, especially as somebody who loves this IP and has grown up playing all the video games and reading all the comics and playing with all the toys and knows, and reading all the books and not only the comics, but so like I know the wide range of stories that could be told with this IP, and it's so frustrating that like not getting anything. But I will probably talk more at length on my Terminator frustrations. Yeah, this is a very mixed bag for me. But at the end of the day, personal feelings aside, 6 out of 10. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. If you're gonna rent this, I would pay money to rent this. I'm not upset that I own this, that I paid $25 for it. I'm perfectly okay with that. As a Terminator fan, I'm completely okay with that. As a lifelong Terminator fan that has high hopes for this franchise, and as a storyteller myself who has come up with some really interesting stories for this series, it's very frustrating to not see anything fresh being done with it, and just the same old thing again and again and again and again. But yeah, excluding that, it's a good time. It's worth your money. It's it's probably the best Terminator since the T2. But again, if this film doesn't merit its exist, or, doesn't prove why it should exist with a sequel, I ain't watching this again. That's just that. But yeah, that's been Terminator. Yeah, if you enjoyed my review, please give me a like. If you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe for more. If I do have a lot more reviews lined up. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Stay safe, all, and yeah, see you next time.